guys, it's Tim with the Gutter Growth Podcast. I have a special guest today. We have Adam McChesney, and he does personal branding and also some SEO stuff. What's up? What's up, Adam? How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Tim. Thanks for having me on. Good to see you again. Saw you on another call earlier today, but super excited to be here and to pour into your audience.
Good deal, man. For the guys that don't know you, can you give us a little bit of background story?
Yeah, absolutely. So Adam McChesney, born and raised here in St. Louis, Missouri, live here with my wife, Delaney, our 6-month-old Murphy, as well as our dog, Georgie. I spent 5 years in medical device sales right out of college. So if anybody's familiar with CPAP equipment, the mask, all that stuff, I worked for a company called ResMed, managed a $25 million a year territory here in the state of Missouri. Thought that's what I always wanted to do, but realized it came with a lot of travel, increased responsibilities if I wanted to make more money. And I was 26 going on 27 at the time, getting ready to get married. And I said, hey, if I have a family one day, this is not the lifestyle that I want to live. So in 2018, I was sitting in a hotel room and I typed in how to make money online, like a lot of people do when they want to go and become an entrepreneur. So got targeted with a bunch of different stuff, bought nothing from that search. But when I went back over to Facebook, I saw this shiny picture of this massive apartment complex. And it said, I bet you would love to own this piece of real estate. We have a way that you can do it in the digital format. And so I clicked on it, and it was a course that taught me digital marketing, mainly website design and SEO through digital real estate. So from 2018 to 2020, after I bought that course, I built 200 websites on my own. And I was building those sites and then ranking those websites and the Google business profiles on the first page of Google. And I started selling those leads. And when there was enough leads there, I would actually flip the website and sell it to a local contractor for whatever the value it was in which we decided. So I was providing results in advance or pay per performance on the first 200 sites that I ever built. And then I decided to go full-time in 2020. And when I did that, I started to grow more of a traditional agency where it's the company, the contractor comes in and says, hey, I want you to build my website, do the SEO, do the paid ads, because more people were wanting that at the time. And ended up becoming a partner at Height Digital, which is where I'm currently working myself out of, but worked with 600 plus contractors over the last couple of years, managing a couple $1 million a month in ad spend. We were an Inc. 5000 agency, but I started a couple companies on the side in that time. So an auto glass company, a landscape design company, which were actually 2 websites of those original 200 that were producing so many phone calls that ultimately we just decided to start the company. And then now my newest venture is Builders of Authority, which I had been speaking and coaching on from a distance on personal branding for a couple of years, turned it into an actual company in November. And now we have a group mastermind and one-to-one coaching, but I consult a lot now on digital marketing, just helping people understand what they do need to pay for and what actually makes sense versus what they might just be able to do with organic social media content.
I know I'm on the Builders Authority, and I learn a lot from that page.
Good, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So what's like the number one tip you could give us for personal branding, and why is it important for gutter guys to personal brand?
Yeah. So one of the biggest reasons why I went full-time with Builders of Authority is we were working with so many different contractors. And whether you're a contractor that's like just getting started or you've been in business for 20 years, you're going to have different needs and package sizes. But like for the most part, like SEO and paid ads are SEO and paid ads. So it doesn't matter whether you're brand new or you've been in business for a long period of time, your budget in order to be successful is going to have to kind of be around the same thing. And what I saw is a lot of businesses that were $1 million and under, which are the people that really need to not just get a return on their investment, but if they don't get a return on their investment, they could almost probably go out of business or not pay themselves, which both are terrible situations, but that they weren't taking advantage of their own individual brand. And what I mean by that is you can post as a gutter guy or gal from your personal page, and it will help your company grow. Most people that are connected with you right now on Facebook, for example, because that's where a lot of our clients are at, that's what I teach a lot on. Some people might not even know what you do, but you're posting potentially from your business page, or you're buying leads, or you're doing any one of the digital marketing strategies that's out there, but you're not doing the one that costs you nothing except for some time and energy. That could actually be the catapult. We've used it in our digital marketing company, our auto glass company, our landscape design business, to get significant growth without having to rely a bunch on paid ads.
No, I agree. We seem to rely on paid ads way too much. I mean, I'm a big advocate of it. I do a lot of paid ads.
This podcast is sponsored by One Gutter Guard, the premium gutter guard that delivers the highest performance, quality, and value to your customers. From its different mesh filters to its unibody construction, One Gutter Guard can be the difference maker in your business. Are you interested in becoming part of the exclusive dealer network? Contact them today at onegutterguard.com or just give them a call. Now back to our show.
There's a time and place for paid ads. It's absolutely incredible. It's not always scalable at certain degrees, and there's more competition than ever before, and it's also more expensive than ever before. So as long as you know your numbers, you're tracking stuff, there's a time and place for it 100%. It's just, I hate to see it where people get screwed over, or they make that decision on their own. Like, hey, I'm just getting started. I'm going to go spend X amount of dollars on paid ads because I don't want to work for the work, right? I want people to just come in me. I want the phone to ring. I want bookings. I want those things. So yes, that can help out with that. But if you're not doing the guerrilla type marketing, if you're not posting organically on social media, if you're not doing local networking, if you're not out in your community, you always rely on paid ads, which is one algorithm change away, which is one massive jump in pricing away, which is a bunch of competition coming into town away from being completely obsolete for you, or just not a return on investment.
So for a gutter guy who isn't building their personal brand and now they realize they need to, what's some of the first steps they should take?
Yeah, so take a baseline audit of where you're at right now from a content standpoint. And whether you know it or not, because I speak with contractors all the time, I ask a question like, who here has a personal brand? And like 10% of the room raises their hand. The 90% is like, no, I don't have a personal brand. Whether you know it or not, you have a personal brand. It's what other people think about you when you're not in the room. They think about you, Tim, me, Adam, that's separate from the business. Now, ideally, hopefully they're also thinking about your business in the process. And that can be a good thing or that can be a bad thing, just of what people think about you as the personal brand. But let's just say right now you're not posting literally at all. Well, if we could get you to start posting maybe 3-4 times a week from your personal page about the business, about what you're doing in the community, about your personal life, about those types of things that people ultimately get connected to, your business will grow. Now, if we can work up to doing a post every single day, some reels a couple times a week, a live video, once you finish a project or start a project or have a customer testimonial, like those things are all super, super impactful. But if we can just get you starting to post more than you currently are and understanding where your baseline is at right now, you'll be in a much better spot.
So for guys who aren't posting at all, they just need to start posting. As far as like video content, what type of videos should they do?
So video content is great for before and after. So if you literally have like videos of, hey, this is us starting on the job, and then here's the video after. And if you have a customer testimonial video that you can pull in at the very end of it, even better. The cool thing about reels and stuff, short form content, is you can actually make a video out of a bunch of pictures. So a lot of, people are putting pictures into their CRM already. They're just taking pictures for content purposes. You can turn that into a simple and easy reel pretty quickly. And then, for example, if you just have a bunch of pictures, if at the end of it, you ideally get a 5-star Google review, well, there's nothing better than before and afters. And then the 5-star review that ends up being the closing aspect to that video.
That way you're showing them the whole process. You're showing them before,
Exactly.
after, and then happy customer.
Exactly. Because with all of this stuff, if you just show the end results, it's only going to get a fraction of the impact as if you told the whole story. So with content, with all of these different things, nobody wants to be sold, but everybody loves a really, really good story that makes them feel as if they're not getting sold at all. So I have a strategy. I post twice a day, every single day on Facebook, with 80 to 90% of my content having nothing to do with what I sell. Because the reason is people could go buy a lot of times what we do from 15 to thousands of different places, depending upon services like marketing, personal branding, advertising, etc. So they're not just scrolling on Facebook and being like, man, I really, really hope Adam is selling something today about personal branding, or I really, really hope Tim is going to talk about this awesome gutter guard. Like, they're not thinking that, right?
Yep.
Facebook is a pattern interrupt. Google is buying intent. So what we need to do is we need to catch their attention, which is why I use memes, short form content, long form content based on the time of day to get somebody to like, comment, and potentially share my stuff, because that's where engagement grows. But anytime someone stops, does that action, people end up coming to my profile and are like, I wonder what Adam does, or what's Adam up to, etc. Well, then they start to see, and they come into my ecosystem, and people are like, oh, I need that. And at the right time, they'll reach out and they'll end up being interested in doing business together.
So you try to kind of mix it up. Like sometimes you're given just short posts, sometimes it's longer content.
Yes.
Is a mixture kind of what works the best?
Yep. So usually I do about 50-50 in terms of short form versus long form, maybe 60-40, even 70-30 short form versus long form. So I post twice a day. Sometimes I'll add a meme in the middle of the day. Sometimes I'll do short form both days. So like if you start posting right now on Facebook and it's only a couple sentences, you'll see where that has like the sticky background, the colored background that you can do. Those are really good, especially later in the day, because the attention span of your audience or anybody on social media at 3 or 4 o'clock is going to be winding down compared to first thing in the morning. I typically will do like a longer form post. So this morning I made a post about a program that I started as a student in an 8-week program at the recording of this video, where I'm investing in myself so the people that are investing with me and I'm coaching now know all the different things I'm working on. Got about like almost 100 likes and things like that, but I told a story and then had a picture there. Well, people are a lot more likely to read that 7 a.m. versus 5 p.m. because they're just like, man, I'm just on social media scrolling probably to pass time, not get education and information.
You got more brain power in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you kind of got to work with the psychology of it.
Absolutely.
I like that with the video. So if they're not real comfortable with video right off the bat, you could start off with reels and do pictures and still kind of get yourself out there. Is there any particular editing program they should be using?
So if I'm taking a bunch of pictures and compiling a bunch of stuff in there, I actually will actually just do it in the platform itself. So I'll like do it in Instagram, I'll do it in TikTok, I'll do it in Facebook, and you can always save the video in the platform. But you can also use, like I use it's called Captions. I don't know if it's on Android, but it's on Apple. And I'll basically put the video stuff in there, and then I'll add like the little catchy captions. It's like $50, I think, for the year. So there are third-party platforms that you can use in order to like make it a little bit more fancy. But right now, if you're not posting a lot, especially if you're not doing any video, we have to build the habit and the routine for like the first 30 days to just make it to where it's like we don't even think about it again. And then that's really where we're looking for like quality and increasing the quality and the impact of those videos.
Okay. So for the guys that, because you said not to post about your business all the time or not to be trying to sell something all the time, what are some ideas of things that they could post throughout the week that's not just saying, buy?
Yeah, it's a great question. So things that you're passionate about are probably like the easiest thing that I see people latch onto from a posting standpoint. That's not business. So for me, a lot of it's like self-development or motivation, or it might be sports or fitness. It could be anything, right, that you have as a hobby or that you're just like interested in talking about, stuff that's going on, especially if you're a local business in the local community, but also a lot of like personal stuff and family related stuff. So I know some people are like, yes, I like doing that. Other people are like, no, I don't want people to know. My rule of thumb and train of thought has usually always been that the more that you open up to people, the more likely that they are to trust you, know you, and like you, and do more business with you.
The more human you are.
Exactly. There's not like, oh, I wonder who this person is behind closed doors. It's like, no, this who is that person is behind closed doors. And so from like that specific aspect, if we're thinking about it, for me, people ask all the time, like, Adam, how do you don't really ever talk about what it is that you sell or what it is that you do. How do you get so many leads from social media? So I use this perfect example of like, I go in my analytics, and of the last or the most popular 10 posts from a reach and engagement standpoint over the last 90 days, only one of them has to do with anything business related. And that was a picture of our event at the end that we had here for Builders of Authority Live last month. The number one, which is like by and far, was a meme that I created last week that was from the Hangover movie, where it was like they were all ready to go party in Vegas, really nice clothes, blah, blah. And then the next was the morning after, where they were trying to get the car back outside of the police station. And it said starting a business versus running a business. And I did some little caption at the top. What people might be like, hey, that's a really like funny meme, but it's kind of stupid. Like, where's this all tie in together? Well, do you know how many people, there was over 50 shares, a couple, I can't remember how many, 40, 50 comments, and then 150 plus likes. Those are business owners that are liking, commenting, and sharing on that stuff.
They're resonating with it.
Exactly. That are usually going to be my ideal client because something is going on in their business that I or somebody in my network can help them out with. So on the surface level, you're like, but nobody even nobody even could tell from that post what you do. Well, I can assure you, I got so much engagement and so much exposure and so many people messaging me about that meme that led to conversations that will lead to clients, versus I could have just made a simple meme about like, hey, here's a post, here's Builders of Authority, here's why you need to sign up, blah, 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 blah. Would have got a fraction of the engagement and the reach, but I got the same results I was looking for without people even knowing I was looking for that result.
That's awesome. So it mix a little humor into it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so you also do like SEO work or what would you do organically, I would say, to help, what are other things that they could do organically to kind of build their brand or some organic marketing?
Yeah, so I've done SEO for the last 6 years in our agency. Right now, not selling that as a service at all. So I mostly just like help people out that are like, hey, what is SEO? When should I do it? How should I do it? The simplest aspect is SEO with your Google Business Profile. So Google Business Profile's free and easy to set up. You want to make sure that the profile as a whole is 100% optimized. So when you go into the Google Business Profile section, you'll see a circle, and you want that circle to be all green. From there, you want to make sure that the profile is basically filled out to its completion. So if it is all green, then that means it is, with the description, your hours of operation, the services you offer, blah, 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 blah. But from there, you want to make sure of a couple different things. You want to make sure that you're posting at least once a week to the actual profile. So you can literally have like a post update, very similar to like a Facebook page. So from there, you're posting once a week with a picture, and then you're writing out a post about the picture, right? And you can literally go into ChatGPT and have that write the post for you. And then you have a call to action at the bottom, which is call now, message us, visit the website, whatever you want that to be. So that's what you should be doing at least once a week. From there.
That was interesting because I heard you say that earlier on that call we were on.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could write all that in there. Is Does that make a big difference between just posting a picture and then writing everything and then having a call to action?
So yes and no. If you're going to just post it one time, it's not going to make a difference. If you're going to post it for a month, it's not going to make a difference. Basically, it's like building your organic social media following. Very, very similar. You should be doing it for 90 days and you will see a significant difference. And you want to make sure it's not just like saying the same thing over and over and over again. The thing that will make a quicker win and a quicker difference, and I kind of referenced it earlier on that other call as well, is you can do an offer on there. So like, let's just say you're offering like free something, whatever it might be, right? Free gutter cleaning with X, Y, and Z purchase, or 10% off, or whatever it might be. Who knows? You can actually go promote that offer, and you don't have to run ads to it or anything like that. You can go promote that offer on your Google business profile, and you will get more exposure from that. Now, of course, you don't always want people just reaching out because of X, Y, and Z offer. You don't just want to be throwing offers out there to throw offers out there, but it will help you get exposure because in Google's mind, they're like, hey, I'm helping people that are on my platform get a better deal by showing this to more people versus the people that are just posting to post. So as a segue from that, on the platform, getting reviews are worth its weight in gold. And if you can get the quantity number of reviews is of course important, right? Especially in super competitive, highly populated markets, but it's also about the quality of them too. So if I'm thinking about it, like in quality, in my opinion, outweighs quantity 99% of the time, but like you want a picture, you want the person leaving a review to put a picture up, take a picture of the completed project, because that's going to do a couple of different things. One, pictures are appealing, usually, even if they're not taken on the greatest camera, but people's attention goes there. And so they know it's usually a real review because fake reviews are obviously popping up all over. But Google can understand that that picture was taken from the house or the business, wherever that was, and it's not like some finagled geotagged photo. But then if you can educate your customer to be like, hey, put that this was done at your home or business in X, Y, and Z suburb, and this was the service that we offered. So like those three things plus a picture, you get one of those reviews, that's worth like 5 just okay, middle of the road reviews usually. So you can accomplish less with more, right? Or sorry, more with less by just following those simple tactics and strategies. The Google business profile, we've seen, like I've even launched Google business profiles without having a website, without having the SEO on the website. When you get those reviews and you're posting to it, it can actually drive more content than anything you'd be able to do in a short-term period on just your website, for example.
What's some ways that you would get your customers to leave a review? I heard someone the other day said that they try to get the customer to like take a picture with the installer and then leave that on there. But what's some ways, because a lot of guys feel it's hard to ask for the review or to get the review, let alone getting the picture put up too.
Yeah, so it can be tough. So a couple different answers is one, use automation when possible. So I know a lot of the CRMs will send out reminders and automations and things like that. But the likelihood you're going to get that if you have to rely on automation or if you have to follow up with a text message, phone call, et cetera, is usually not nearly as good as if you can get it when the job is completed. So in our auto glass company, we actually just have redone this process over and over and over again, but we've gotten over 320. We're at a 4.9 star review in about 3 years. So there's only one company in town that's been in business for about 20 years that has more reviews than us. But for us, we have significantly increased the amount of reviews that we're getting by a couple different ways. So one in which is we set the expectations on the actual phone call when the job is getting booked. So we're like, hey, Tim, we are scheduled to have our technician, John, come out on Friday. He's going to come out on Friday at between 1 and 3 p.m. or whatever the time block window, et cetera, is. It should take about 30 minutes. Here's exactly what we are going to be doing. And just so you know, here's how we take payment, blah, blah, blah. Our goal is to deliver a 5-star experience for you because we are a local small business that grows and scales when more people just like yourself end up finding us on the internet and doing business with us. That's usually what we say, regardless of how they ended up coming to us, right?
Sure.
Because you can tie that back to like 99%, even if it's word of mouth. Like, this is just, it's a huge thing. So then when when John shows up on Friday, shows up early, blah, 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 he's saying, hey, Tim, my name's John. Again, this is going to take about 30 minutes. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how much, again, it's going to cost. We are going to take before and after pictures, and then we're putting this into our CRM because sometimes we have to submit stuff to insurance. So we're going to take care of this entire process. If anything, because we go to the car on the spot at somebody's home or business usually, if anything is going to take shorter or longer, I will, call you, communicate with you, because you're going to be inside and whatever. But I will let you know. And at the end of it, we would love for the opportunity to get your experience and a review, et cetera, et cetera. Are you okay with, or are you willing to leave us that review? Everybody's going to say yes.
Mhm.
Rarely have we heard anybody say wrong. So then when it's all said and done, and you've delivered on what you said you were going to do, from the initial phone call to being on site to the actual job, it's there, right? What we do, and this is kind of like industry specific and pretty clever, but we have an air freshener because we're replacing their windshield. We have an air freshener with our logo on the front and a QR code on the back that takes them right to the Google review.
That is slick.
Always recommend having something that you can leave behind with them that they are going to put somewhere and remember it. And we usually give a couple extras so that way they continuously have it in there, and other people are seeing it and it's building the brand, et cetera. But then it makes it so simple and easy for them to have that picture, go put it up, get the air freshener, and we gave them something in return for them helping us. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but that's the entire process we use, and it's been super effective.
That's a good process. So you're kind of letting them know initially, hey, we want to earn this. Then you're kind of reminding them in the middle, and then you're asking them at the end. So it's like the third touch. It's a charm.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, and we just started doing this, which has driven a ton of reviews, even more than we were already getting in the last week or so, just when we implemented this at the beginning of the month. So if you have a team of people, technicians, et cetera, we are now doing a competition for a $100 Amazon gift card at the end of the month to the tech that has the most reviews associated back to their jobs. So now everybody's like going after and doing it. So something simple like that can drive behavior of your team if you have other people doing jobs and things like that.
It's a nice, healthy competition.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody loves that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, the reviews are important. And, also when you get them, you're not going to get as many as cheap customers. You'll get more people willing to actually pay for your service because you got a great reputation.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things, like even in our marketing company, we had over 100 5-star Google reviews. And like most of the time when somebody was coming to hire me, I said, hey, go look at those reviews online. Those are real legit reviews. You're going to see experiences. You're going to see my name and our team's name on there. And most of the time they were like, wow, the other marketing companies I'm going to like compare you all with, they have like no reviews or 5 reviews or 10 reviews. And we were only in business for full time for like 3 years. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's how many reviews we were getting based off of what we were doing. And it is like the easiest sale when you want quality people, because everybody thinks people want the cheapest option. And there are, of course, people out there that want the cheapest option, but a lot of times people just want to know that they're going to get a fair result for what it is that they are paying. And that's perceived value versus everybody, especially like as you're growing in business, you always think like, oh my gosh, this person is going to haggle me on price, or should I go cheaper to match somebody's option? When you say yes to a customer on discount that you shouldn't do, you are not just saying yes to somebody you shouldn't do business with. You're also saying no to the eventual right people that are actually trying to pay you what you are worth and what you want to charge.
I agree. You're kind of wasting your time with the wrong customers.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, I don't know if this has been your experience, but the cheap customers seem to be the biggest pain in the ass too.
Always.
It just works that way.
Mm-hmm.
How important is responding to the review? Because I know a lot of times people get reviews, but they're not responding to it. How important is it to actually make a response, whether it's good or it's bad feedback?
That's a great question. So respond regardless, whether it's good or it's bad or it's indifferent. Like we've had a couple of 4-star reviews recently, like literally 2 people that were like, hey, I'll leave you a review and I'm going to leave a review, but I don't do 5-star reviews because I don't believe in perfect. Like people are crazy out there, right? But it's still a good review, right? And it also shows that like we aren't perfect. We've had 1-star review in the history of those 300 plus. But responding to the reviews in a timely manner in Google's eyes is super, super important. And I also tell people like meet them where the review is at. So if it's a long freaking review, don't just write like, thank you, Tim. If it's a short review, don't write like a freaking long response. Like, thank you so much, Tim. This was amazing. No, meet them where they're at because Google's also looking for the human element behind all of this. So you can literally do something as well as where you copy and paste the review that they left. You put that into ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, can you create a response based off this review? Here's my company name. Here's our information. Here's what we do. And then you're creating your own bot to respond to all the reviews. And then you take the copy and paste it over into the actual review. That's like the lazy way if you have a bunch of reviews and you don't want to freaking respond to each one of them on your own. So there's no excuse to not respond to reviews.
I was going to ask you about AI. How often should they incorporate that into content making?
It's a great question. So AI with your website is probably the biggest gray area question mark that we get. When it comes to your social media content, when it comes to Google business posting, when it comes to responding to reviews, copywriting, all of that stuff, emails, I always tell people like use common sense. If it sounds like AI to yourself, everybody else is going to be able to tell it. And even if it doesn't sound like AI to you, have somebody else proofread it because usually people can pick up on that super quickly. I'm very, very careful about putting AI or anything with ChatGPT on the website because Google has announced in multiple different facets, like AI is not new by any means. And they are able to pick up if it's AI generated content, even if you put it through plagiarism tools. For whatever reason, I have no idea how Google is that intelligent, but they're basically saying don't do it. And they came out with a recent update a couple of weeks ago. And a lot of people that I know that were doing a bunch of tests with AI content, I'm seeing it on both different ends. No, I wasn't affected. Yes, I was affected, and Google basically slapped my wrists and knocked down all the traffic that was coming, exposure, et cetera. So I just tell people like right now, there's no reason why you'd be putting it on your website, but everywhere else, just use common sense.
Mm-hmm. I always tell it to like, because I'm kind of like a straight talker, so I always tell it to kind of speak kind of blunt, so it sounds like me.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Try to make it have my personality.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, the AI is pretty great. It's come a long way.
It has. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So what's a couple other things we could tell the audience? What do you think gutter guys need to know?
I think the biggest aspect from all of this stuff, whether it's digital or whether it's in person, is building out a network of raving fans. So then that way, you can accomplish a lot more with less work. And so like at the end of me being in the agency space, like I was getting 3, 5, sometimes 10 leads a day, not because I was producing more content, but that more people were tagging me in all the different groups that you see out there and connecting me with their friends that were also needing digital marketing. And I wasn't having to do anything more from like an output standpoint, right? Or an input standpoint to get the output. So if you can, be the go-to or the most known from a branding standpoint, guy or gal in the gutter space in your local market, and people are tagging you in the contractor specific groups, they're tagging you in the referral groups. Hey, who do you know that can do gutters in X, Y, and Z area? And then other people are just like, man, I need to connect Tim with Adam because I know Adam would be a good connection to help him grow his business. That's where this stuff goes. Again, that can be in person, can also be digital, which is even better if you can do it to where you don't have to go to all the freaking networking meetings because those are time consuming. So I would just say focus on building a community of raving fans that will make your life a lot easier and more simpler. And you're going to have to do less of the legwork in order to grow and scale your business.
So they shouldn't just be posting on their personal page, but also in like local Facebook groups.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You should be going and posting in those things. You should be building relationships in those groups as well. So if you think about it from the aspect of like, okay, I see that Tim is the biggest roofer in town, and I really want to build a relationship because I only do gutters. I want to build a relationship with Tim. And then all of a sudden I see that all these people in these other groups are asking like, hey, who is the go-to roofing guy? And I don't really have a roofing guy right now that I'm super, super in love with. I'm going to go out of my way and just start tagging Tim. So I'm going to provide all this value to Tim. So that way, when Tim looks up at the end of the day and he sees I've provided so much value, he's ultimately going to be like, hey, Adam, like, thank you so much for doing all that stuff. How can I repay you? So we got to figure out how we can start building relationships, sending people business, supporting them. And then it's going to ultimately come back, full steam ahead after that.
So a lot of it's give and not take.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's actually how I got well known in the gutter industry. I for like a couple of years, I just joined all the groups and I commented on like everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what I recommend doing too. Just even if it's not about your trade, if it's just giving value almost on every post that you can, if you're capable of it on that particular post.
100%. We got to get more people to know, like, and trust you. So that way they feel confident, not just working with you, but they feel confident putting their name and reputation to their closest individual friends and family to do business with you as if they know, like, and trust you.
Mm-hmm. And then if you're giving business to other people or recommending them, they're going to automatically like you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then they might even just want to repay you on that and pay you back.
100%.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I think it's pretty important too. I always posted a lot about my business throughout the years. I had Gutter Pros for like 10 years, and you definitely get a lot of business that way. Should they be adding friends, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I recommend adding 5 new friends every single day. Those friends are people that you're like, hey, I know they're friends with my past clients, or I know their name from somewhere or whatever. Like, I'm just going to add them. Or they could be other people that run businesses. And especially if they especially if they run businesses that could be potential referral partners for you. So I'm going to go add the realtors of the world. I'm going to go add the insurance agents, the financial advisors, like whoever's in that networking referral-based ecosystem. I'm going to go add them. I'm also going to add in other contractors, especially like tree service companies, landscapers, again, the ones that don't offer what I offer, build relationships there. And then anybody also that's influential in the area.
So gutter guys should probably be adding like roofers, property managers, builders, general contractors, real estate agents, that type of thing.
100%.
And then especially locally.
Yes, especially locally.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that do you think a good majority of the gutter guys just aren't doing this, or just businesses in general? You
I
think
think businesses in general, I'd say probably more contractors in general, because it's not like one, it's not a habit or routine that has likely been active before, but it's also not been like a requirement by any means, right? And so we came off of COVID, for example, where business was flowing. Like if you weren't growing, you were doing something insanely wrong. Well, over the last couple of years, as money has kind of shored up a little bit, the economy is kind of doing whatever the heck it's doing. It's been harder to have that same type of growth and profitability because cost of goods are continuing to rise. It's harder to find good people to do the work. Like there's so many factors that if you were just flying by the seat of your pant and getting business because you had a pulse, you're struggling now. And so people are now having to go back to the basics and the foundational stuff, which again, in my opinion, is if I'm starting a brand new business and going and telling people, like, I'm just going to start posting, hey, I have this company, I'm looking for more work, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, because these people already know who I am because we're connected on Facebook. They might not know me super well. They might not like me yet. They might not trust me yet, but you got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the more frequently that you're posting about your personal life, the more they're kind of getting to know you, and the more that you're building that trust naturally. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, it comes off a lot more natural. It's easier, and it's a lot more impactful in the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Gutter guys, you guys need to build your personal brands.
Yes, absolutely.
Good deal, man. I appreciate you coming on here. I think that was pretty valuable for everybody. Is there one last thing that sticks out that you kind of want to tell everybody before we get off here?
I think the biggest aspect is as you're listening to this stuff, as you're listening to what Tim's putting out, like whether it's the stuff we talked about today or that I teach on, or it's any other aspect of your business, 90 days from now, you're either going to have a lot of results based off of whatever it is that you're listening and implementing in your business, or you're going to have 90 days worth of excuses on all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Should have taken care of my finances. I should have hired the bookkeeper. I should have done X, Y, and Z. Those are all things that you need to likely be doing. Social media, organic posting, personal branding is that aspect. You need to take action on it. Otherwise, don't complain that you are where you're at, because you are where you at based on the previous 90 days worth of work most of the time. And if you're struggling for content ideas and all those different things, as Tim mentioned, he's in our free Builders of Authority Facebook group. Just type in Builders of Authority in Facebook. Go join the group. I post in there every single day, and I do a live training once a week. You'll get plenty of ideas and inspiration on what you can post to start building your personal brand and becoming the authority in your industry.
And I take a lot of those ideas. So
yeah, well, that's
good ideas.
What it's for.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was just about to say that. So if they want to get a hold of you, you could just kind of join that group, Builders of Authority. And there's definitely a lot of good content on there. I'm a big follower of it, and I appreciate the content.
Of course, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
So good deal, Adam. I appreciate you having me on, and have a good day.
See you, man.